was actually a black man, but there has been so much whitewashing that we just don't know. And that's in racism, pretty much. And here these people are now in 2026 still. I mean, they've been doing this for years, saying that a famous slave trader, not only was he a slave trader, he was funding the transatlantic slave trade. King James was. Um, this guy's supposed to be a black man, an Israelite at that. I don't even know where they get that claim from, because there's nothing in history that ever says that King James was a black Hebrew Israelite, or even if he wasn't, even let's say he was claiming that he was an Israelite, and there's nothing to say that he's black. There's still nothing to say that he was an Israelite. Where does anybody even get that from? That he's Jewish? My man was Scottish. He's the son of Mary, Queen of Scots. Um, yeah, I could stay right there. I'll be right back. All right, we're back up in here, man. Sorry about that. King James was Dominican. I'm trying to see if these cats are gonna come on about King James, because there's a book out there just to put out some actual historic evidence um, that does call King Charles, which was the grandson of King James, King Charles II. It says that he had a black complexion, goes back to the word swarthy, and this is where the confusion comes from. So the book is called Secret Services of European Kings or something like that, and it's the author is named John Mackey. And if you look up John Mackey, he got this from another source. So this is like what's considered anecdotal evidence. This is somebody saying something that they heard somebody else, or that they read that somebody else said, and then they put it in a book, and they said that King James had black complexion, which is talking about being swarthy, which is where You get the word Stuart. The Stuart family was what King James was part of, the Stuart family, the Stuart lineage. So you have that in there, and I'm not going to deny that that's there. But the problem is that um, the English word, the British English, it's not like what we speak today, where people are called black and it represents their race. This is talking about an undertone or a skin tone um, that's a little darker or tan than the normal Europeans. And when you look up the word swarthy, that's used to describe certain Europeans that have darker features than your average pale Europeans, pretty much. So, if that's the only evidence available, that's very bad evidence because we have actual paintings of King James when he was pretty much being drawn by artists like John Turner, and I forget the other artist that painted him, but let's see if we can find something here. Don't attack Greenland. All right, I promise, I'll make sure I tell Mr. Trump to take it easy. Let me see here. Yeah, we got some images of King James. I don't think I'll be able to really make them small or anything, but this is some coins. This is his father. We can't really see it. That's his father right there. You see, this is an altered, a little darkened image of King James's father. And then this is a lighter image of King James's father, Lord Hanley. They say that this is supposed to be a black man. Now, I don't know what the hell these guys are smoking. You see, this is the altered image that they usually use. And this is a real image that you can find on the official National Gallery of London. That's still there. That's been there for 4 centuries now. 5 centuries that thing's been almost in the archives in England. This is like the paintings of kings that people hold. And then people want to show me this as, look, this is a black man. I'm like, this is a blurry ass image. This is very blurry too, right here. This is King James of Scotland. You know, and I don't know. You know, the Royal African Company supplying slaves to Jamestown. This is what King James was doing. He was supplying slaves to Jamestown. His whole company was doing that. His whole business venture was slavery, and so was his children, King Charles the First, the Second, and so forth. This is what they were. This is how they were making their money. A lot of them. Um, so you got that. This is King James's archive photos of him from the 17th century. It says Daniel Mittens is the artist that drew this, or Mitens. Daniel Mitens, a portrait of King James I of England. There he is. To believe that the person that helped ramp up the transatlantic slave trade along with his sons, who owned the Virginia Company, who owned the Royal African Company, to say that these men were black men is really delusional, man. Just very delusional stuff. Let me see something here. Wow, I never heard of that, Detective. I can't say your full name, but But yeah, man, it's like these people that are Hebrew Israelites, they're not really too smart, and I mean that's okay. They can learn, but and I think that's part of the reason why they join something like this. Like it makes them feel like they're smart. It really does. I know when I joined, I wasn't a smart guy. I still don't think I'm that smart, but I know how to tell, the difference between a white man and a black man. And that right there, my friends, is not a black man. Some of these images you can't really get a good look. But come on, this is King James right here. You were gonna say this is a black man. They're gonna say that this is a fake photo or fake image. Is what they're gonna say. But how can they even prove that? Like when? Who did that? When was it done? When did black people rule England, and then when did black people fall and lose control of England, and now white people took over? Like, goddamn, these white people must be some superhumans to be able to get away with what they got away with, pretty much. Deceive the whole world and whitewash all the kings, the royalty of England, to where nobody even knows, the actual history. These are some Hebrew Israelite women right here, married to black men that they want to call this a black woman right here. This is what Hebrew Israelites be doing, man. I just recently did a video about this. This is insanity, man. Just real, true insanity. You have Mary, Queen of Scots, who is the that's the mother. Where's she at? Where's she at? Well, there's a coin with her image on it. That's Mary, Queen of Scots. This is an old ass coin. Look at that beak of a nose right there. You gonna tell me that's a black woman? Come on. How do you prove that these people are black? It's like they start off with the assumption that they're black, and then when we come up for excuses or reasons for why they're not black, they say, "Well, that's not good enough. They don't mean that." Well, I don't mean that. Well, then give me a good reason to believe that these people are black. It don't make no fucking sense. What do we have to go by besides the depictions of this royal family that had their hand in the transatlantic slave trade? That right there should give you a sign that this don't seem right. Maybe they aren't black. Like, why would the people that were involved with the transatlantic slave trade, they were trading their own people who they considered less than? That shit don't make no goddamn sense. And you know it. A lot of y'all know it out there. But y'all don't want to admit it. But y'all know the truth. Here, let me take this whip back over here. Oh shit, I'm dropping my keys. My bad. This is San Miguel TV, the driving edition. Um, we got some images I want to pull up. This is the King James right here. This is the image that Hebrew Israelites would even use, and they'll say, "Yeah, this is a black man right here." Come on, man, take a look at that dude. That's a black person. Explain it to me, man. I need some explaining, Lucy. Like, yo, I'm telling you, man, it's like when your brain wants to see something, it's gonna see what it wants to see. I sent the invite link. I put it on my Facebook page of San Miguel. I put it in the Dismantling Hebrew Israelism Facebook page. You can see the invite link. If any of y'all Hebrew Israelites are on the live stream right now and you want to join, let's go so we can talk about all this. Because there's a problem with your eyesight or something over here. If you even think that this for a second is a white woman or a black woman, rather. How? How, Sway? I mean, they say that this is a black woman right here. That's what they say. That's a black woman. I mean, they're gonna say that Jack Nicholson's a black man. That's Jack Nicholson right there. This is a depiction of Jack Nicholson that don't even really look like him. You know, this is how, just to show you how unreliable depictions of people are and trying to use them as some way of identification. You know, so I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I'm not sure what we're chatting about. King James being black. That's what we're talking about right now. Was King James a black man? This is what I thought somebody was going to join the conversation right now, and I don't know. Hold on one second. I gotta be in and out. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. We're talking about black Hebrew Israelites and their crazy belief that white men that pretty much ran the slave trade, that funded the slave trade. These white men are actually black. This is what they want to believe. I don't know what's happening with the black Hebrew Israelites and a lot of like little pro-black nationalistic groups. They want to seem like their ancestors are royalty. They want to make people. They want to feel like that they're actually like this royal lineage. Like, how do you even go about proving some of these things? I had this fool that I was talking to on the Facebook group Jews versus Hebrew Israelites arguing with me, and then he came out and said that his ancestor is King James, this black dude. So I asked him, how can you even prove that? What are you talking about? Your ancestor, you're related to King James? And then he blocked me. I invited him to come on the live stream, and then the mother effer blocked me. He said, nah, you know, I don't have time for this. This guy was going back and forth with me for hours talking about King James being black. And then when it came time to actually have a conversation about it, you know, he didn't want to talk about it. And he wanted to post images like this right here. The one on the left here is supposed to be the real King James, man. It's just pure insanity, man. I don't even know how else to say it. You know, how do you show somebody that they've been lied to? It's easier to convince somebody of a lie than to convince them that they've been lied to. Archaeology doesn't lie. King James is a black man. Where do you get that from? Archaeology, like this is like in the gallery in London. You got portraits of King James that were drawn in the 17th century. This doesn't lie. This is all archaeology right here. Where y'all getting your garbage from? You know, like this is his family right here, King James's family, the first of Scotland, or the first of England, the sixth of Scotland. This is what we got going on. The Bible says, "Prove all things and hold fast that which is good." This is King James's father, Lord Hanley, right here. You know what I mean? This is a blurred ass image of King James. This is his father, King or Lord Hanley. There's two images of him. There's one. I mean, this is supposed to be a black man. I don't get it. Why is your Oh my God. Why are your messages getting retracted also? I don't know. But yeah, man. People have really bad eyesight. Here's King James right there holding a skull. Um, there's a coin with King James on it. Can't really see much there. There's a coin with Mary, Queen of Scots. Queen of Scotland. What's up, everybody? Welcome to San Miguel TV. I mean, I don't know if it was just for the image, for the painting, but yeah, man, it could have been a real skull. That shit's crazy, right? So that's what we got going on right now, man. Just talking about these different things. I think it's interesting to talk about people's crazy ass beliefs when we have things, images like this. Like this is clearly not a black man, and this is the same person right here too. This person is the same as this person. That's the same depiction drawn by different artists. It's the same thing. It's just drawn by different artists. You see? You can see that his hair is all slick. He don't have your typical black man hair. This is like a fake image right here. This is the real one. This is the fake one that you can get off of some Pan-Africanism websites with no source to where they got this image from. It's a Facebook meme. And then this you can find on the National Archive in England. It tells you who's the artist. It gives you the year it was painted, 1621, just 3 or 4 years before King James died, which he died in 1625. I mean, the truth is right here, man. These are the same people that say the Spartans and the Jews were black. For sure. What's good, brother? The Greeks used duality in their artwork, white and black figures, and meant nothing of skin color. Yeah, just like the Russian icons that they were hooping and hollering about last year because Vladimir Putin showed some Russian icons. This I it's called iconography. It's pretty much, it's not real life depictions. Like they'll make a depiction of a black skinned angel or something. Um, they did the same thing to Stalin. You can see images of Stalin, who was also Russian, and depictions of Stalin will show him to be brown, like as if he wasn't a white dude. And then what are they gonna say years later? 100 years later, they're gonna look at these depictions of Stalin and say that he was actually a black man or something because he looked darker in those depictions, and that's the problem when you have a depiction, right? Like here's a depiction of Jack Nicholson, right? This is Jack Nicholson right here. Hold on. Here's another one. This is supposed to be Jack Nicholson. Look at, this is like different ways that people can make an artist or make a person look like, and every artist is gonna depict them a little bit different. You know, it doesn't mean that this is exactly how Jack Nicholson looks, especially when we're talking about these biblical figures that you're not an eyewitness to any of these people. We can actually pull up videos of Jack Nicholson. We can see him live at the Oscars or whatever. We know who Jack Nicholson is. We know how he looks. It's undeniably, we can't deny it. But when you have these figures in history that you can't see right now, so now you start to come up with your own narrative because if it suits your belief. But exactly why would you want to admit that a man like King James, who funded the transatlantic slave trade, and Jamestown, Virginia was named after him, where the slaves of America first landed in 1619. At least here in the United States, in 1619 was in Jamestown, Virginia. He chartered the Virginia Company, and then the London Group was another group that he founded, and that funded these ships and these slave ships. And then it failed, some of it. He didn't make as much money or something like that. I forgot how it turned into the Royal African Company. Then when you research the Royal African Company, it actually gives you some history. The Royal African Company was supplying slaves to Jamestown. This is historic Jamestown information right here. This is in actual websites, nps.gov. When you go to the .govs, .edus, it's more official than your .orgs, but some .orgs are okay. But you got to be careful with what you're using as reliable information, because look at what some of these Hebrew Israelites come up with when they pull up something like this right here. On the left, that's supposed to be. This is supposedly an image of King James that's floating around Facebook, and I put it side by side on the right to an actual image of King James that we know is official and authentic. So like, people get fooled easily, man. Like, this is the image right here. Look how bad, blurry, and you can tell this is not an official image when you compare it to something like this that you can zoom in on, and it's like you can see the clarity of it, because the original is on this site, the original photo. Once you start screenshotting it, copying it, altering it, then it starts to get more and more blurry. Then that's why you have images that look like this. Like, what the hell is this supposed to even be? And where is the source where they got this from? What's the original image? Because this is the original. You can see this is clear. It's not altered. This is very clear, and you can see that it's also not altered. You got, just this is official stuff right here. These people are posting like blurry ass fucking shit like this. They're saying, yo, look, here's the proof. They're using something like this to say, here's the proof that King James is black. Here's a coin that you could even barely make out. Like, what did you take this on, a fucking Motorola Crazer? I can't make out this image at all. What am I looking at here? Then I'm like, yo, why don't you post a real one? I posted this. Boom. That's the real one right there. Why you need a... That's how you know they're trying to fake it. They're posting a blurry ass image that you can't even make out. Like, what the hell? How is that evidence of anything? And this is not a good way to prove your genetics anyways. To go by an image or a depiction, especially something like this, and then they want to prove color. How do you try to prove somebody's color? You're trying to prove King James' skin color, and then you're using a colorless image, an image that has no color. This is called a hatch drawing, and these drawings are colorless images that are black and white, and they're grayish. They're colorless. This is like a way, you still have that today. It's made by like pencil, and they're called hatch drawings. It's different from an oil painting, like what you have, right here. This is an oil painting of King James, the 6th of Scotland, the 1st of England. This is the official archive right here that you can pull up yourself, that tells you it's an oil painting on a canvas by Daniel Muytens in 1621. You got all the history here of it. But no, they go to these bootleg ass websites where they're gonna have altered images, and then they're gonna put a font and type of text on the image, Photoshop it, and say King James was a black Hebrew Israelite. And then they use that as some type of evidence. Look, it says King James is a black Hebrew Israelite. Yeah, somebody put that on the image. You idiot. Somebody literally took an image, um, drew the text on it, or typed the text on it to make it seem as if this is like an official. It doesn't even make sense. It's like I could do that with anything. I've done that before. It doesn't mean like it's official. It's just my way of identifying. Like I did it on this image. You can't even really see. I gotta pull some of these images back a little bit. I can't do that right now, but yeah, this is just amazing. Amazing stuff, man. More amazing stuff by the Black Hebrew Israelites, yo. It never fails. I've gotten into a lot of debates and disputes with these people. I invited them to come on. Yeah, the Dunning Kruger effect is definitely something that affects these people. Um, do you think you have a good understanding of stuff, and it's like you have a very surface level, short, you did like short like a little bit of research, and you didn't put a long time into actually researching what you're looking into, pretty much. So your information is very limited on these things. And whenever I come across a topic like that, I'll be honest about how much I know. When it comes to King James, I know a lot about King James because I used to be a Hebrew Israelite myself. I used to be a part of a cult called the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, and this is what I did. I used to debate people on the opposite side, and I used to say, King James was black. I used to believe King James was black, yo. I used to actually believe that. So I know how these people think, and I know how they debate. I had very little understanding of what I was talking about. I was just repeating. I was parroting what I was being told. So it wasn't like I was doing my own research. It was all secondhand information. It made me feel smart. I think about why I probably fell into this stuff, and it made me feel like I knew something. It did help me learn some scriptures, even though I was learning an incorrect like understanding of the scriptures. I got a basic knowledge of the history of the Bible, the books. I learned the order of the books, and but there was a whole format of like what scriptures to go to. It was like a whole format that they had where it was jumping around, picking scriptures, cherry picking, and jumping from here to there. It's like a tap dance, man. It's they call it precepting, is what they call it, and they got that from the Bible. But the word precept actually means law. So when it tells you about precepts in the Bible, it's talking about studying your laws. But they make it seem like your precept is to study a certain way of jumping around the Bible and getting a little bit of information here and a little bit there and coming up with a conclusion, taking little pieces of scriptures from one part over here and then another chapter here, and they just blend it all together. They don't stay with context. They don't understand what the hell context means. Sometimes when you study the Bible, you have to go into the original language that the words were written in for you to fully understand what it's even talking about. Like, um, for example, like the word world in John 3:16. How you say the word world in John 3:16 is cosmos. For God so loved the cosmos. It was a Greek translation of the New Testament. The New Testament was only found in Greek. There was no Hebrew translations of the New Testament. If there was, we have not recovered it. We have Hebrew translations of the Old Testament. We have Aramaic. We don't have anything else when it comes to the New Testament besides the Greek. When you go back and you look at the original language it was written in, pretty much. They because Hebrew Israelites love to say, well, that's it. They never found any Hebrew versions. Well, that's because there's none. Obviously, they haven't found any. Where is it? If it was written in Hebrew, where's the evidence of it? And they can never give you a clear answer for that because we knew that the Greek language was dominating at that time, and Latin, period, was.
San Miguel.
Hey, brother, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, my bad. I got cut off.
I'm uh I'm in my car out celebrating my birthday.
Oh man, happy birthday, bro.
Yeah,
Right.
you already know. You already know.
there.
So what
Man,
what we doing? What we doing, man? We talking about that King James?
yeah, you kind of like said it. I much man. I work
You breaking up real bad.
deleted it, and then the whole time
I don't know if it's I'm hooked up to the Bluetooth in my car. So I don't know if it's you or me.
I, yeah, sounds good.
How long are you gonna be on? Cause I can go to the crib and then rejoin it once I disconnect from the Bluetooth.
Good. Probably 45 an hour.
All right. Well, give me a few, man, and I'll reconnect when I get in the house.
All right, sounds good.
I heard you nice and clear that time.
Okay, all right, perfect.
I can hear you now for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Should be.
Yeah, you sound clear now. Maybe it was the area I was in.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it sounds good now. I mean, I was hearing you good before, so but yeah.
Yeah, man. And remember, see, one of the things, one of the, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You can.
One of the problems, and I told you before, like
Mhm.
it seemed like when these guys do live debates with like Sonetter and these different guys, that it seemed to me that they be pretending like they're debating with these guys,
Mhm.
because I like to go for the juggler things that are irrefutable.
Right.
Plus, plus when you, if I was a moderator of a debate with let's say what's his name, Tazaria, he seems
Mhm.
to be the one that's always out in the forefront, right?
Yeah.
You have to make these guys prove things,
Yeah.
not just intellectual, intellectualize about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Um, I that you know, I've been asking them guys for a
They
debate
just
for a long
don't
time,
they don't
man.
make
They
like
take two.
they'll make like a
Go
good.
ahead.
They'll try to come up with a good argument for what they believe in, and instead of providing like actual proof or like really solid evidence, it's just like they just make an argument for it, which is not really evidence. That's what they do.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Exactly my point.
Yeah.
Like like those image, like you did a real good you made a real good move on that King James things about those images, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because they will fight tooth and nail to say that King James was black, and he was not. That's why I put it. That's why I put it that way. Okay, since your argument is you are what your father is, then what is King James' father?
Right.
You know, you know what I mean. Now, get around
Right.
that one.
Yeah. No, because they say his father was black, and this is the image right here that they post. And then when I went to go look for the image, I found this. So you see, it's slightly different, but it's the same image.
Right,
They just
right.
kind of make it like a little vintage, and then it's very blurred. Like if you try to zoom in on the face, you can't zoom in good. But once you get the official
Okay.
image from the National Art Gallery of London, if you go to
Hmm.
that website and you zoom in on this guy's face, you can tell his hair, everything is detailed, and this is not anything close to a white guy, but I don't a black guy. I mean, I don't know how they get that. I guess because they see his hair is a little kinky, but it's really not. It's like it's not even really not. Only in the blurred image you kind of like feel like okay, yeah, it looks like it's like kinky, but when you look at it in the brighter image, in the clearer image, and you zoom in, his hair is not even really kinky or curly or nothing. It's just a little wavy.
Yeah.
And it's just a depiction too. It's like every little detail, it's not going to be so accurate. Like you're not going to be able to. But like you have this one right here. This is Lord uh, Darnley is called his name.
Yeah. Lord Darling.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like
Stewart. That's supposed to be Stewart, right?
yeah, Stuart exactly the father of King James.
Yeah, that's supposed to be. Yeah, that's supposed to be Stewart. That's not. And even in the images that they say are black, it still look like a white person.
Exactly. Yeah.
They
Like this.
still look like a white person, man.
Like this one here is all blurred, and they try to say like that's a black person, and it's hard to zoom in. When you zoom in on it, it gets even more blurry. But when I go find because these images are floating around Facebook, and they're on these like Pan African websites and all of that, where Hebrew Israelites are not the only ones that say that. But then when you go to the actual
Listen.
image, you can see
Here's something that one of them did, and I saw it on the screenshot. They putting. I'm gonna tell you why these images are coming up like that, or one of the reasons why is because they're searching Moors.
right, right,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
So when they search more, they're not searching who was King James' father. They're searching Stuart something, Lord Donnelly of the Moors,
right, right.
and the images are coming up like similar to this one. But that's not a black guy right there. That's not
No,
that's King James. That's not a black guy.
right. Yeah. There's
And neither is that wooden picture of him, that chiseled wooden picture. Those are not images of black people. Come
yeah,
on, man.
yeah, none of them.
Come
I
on,
mean
man.
this is one right here that I found that I haven't seen before of him on a horse. And somebody posted this same image and it was so choppy and blurred that I couldn't even make out what I was looking at. It's crazy that they
Wow.
do that.
And
And you
look at
got
that. That's clear. That other
yeah,
one was clear. Yeah, that one too. That's clear as day.
right, right,
You sitting up here on the corners. You have this doctrine of the white man being the devil. Yet you're favorite translation of the Bible is the King James version, which was a bona fide white man.
Yeah, he was
I
white,
don't, I
very
don't, I
white.
don't. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
They even
And
said that he
if
had
people
red
let them
hair.
get, go ahead.
There's a description of King James that said he had red hair. You know,
Okay,
I've seen some images, some color images. Yeah, even this one, you can see he has reddish hair. You know,
that's King
That's
James.
like the Scottish
Right,
thing, Irish thing. Sometimes have like
right.
reddish hair, and you could kind of see it there. It's crazy.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
That's one of the things, man. You gonna sit up here and say the white man is the devil, yet what black? Let me. Here's another question. What black people was on the Council of Nicaea
right, right,
during the translation of the Bible? Who was black
right, right.
when he authorized the translation of his version? Who
Mhm.
was black? Who was black?
Right,
Which one of them so-called scholars that translated the Bible was a Negro?
exactly.
Come on, man. It's
And
too
then
easy. It's way too easy.
his son, his son King Charles the Second, right here. They try to say this image is of a like a half black man or something. So I heard some of them say. You
Uh,
know, I don't even know where they get that from. I guess because he has some curly hair or something. 'Cause his hair looked a little wavy. I've seen depictions of him, like a statue of him that has his nose like broken off. Like they his whole face is not just his nose, his whole face was defaced. The whole statue was defaced pretty much. And
wow.
they try to use that to say that he's black, and I'm like, yo, I can't even see his face. It's completely mutilated. It's all defaced. How does that prove that he's black? Like that's crazy. I wish I could find that one, but let me see, man. I was going back and forth with them on that one, but
Yes. So all the images that have statues of the nose or the lips or the face knocked off is because the white man is trying to hide the fact that they were black.
right, right.
This is too
It's
easy.
even when you look at what happened with the Sphinx in Egypt, you know, the Egyptians used to believe that the spirit comes into the body through the nose. You know, I think that's where the Bible gets, you know, the spirit of life. He breathed life into his nostrils or whatever. I think
Right,
that's like that was like an old like thing that comes from Egypt where they believe like the spirit goes in through your nose.
wow,
Why they did that to the noses of the Sphinx is because that's what they believe, that their spirit actually goes in through the nose. So they try to destroy that. It has nothing to do with they're trying to hide, whatever. You know,
right.
it's ridiculous, man. But you know, then you have the word swarthy, man. The word swarthy. If you look at, you ever heard of this Anthony Quinn actor?
Yes.
So he was like Irish, Italian, but he played Mexicans, he's played Arabs, he's played Italians. You can't really read the description of him, but you can see it says he had dark hair and swarthy
Hmm.
complexion. If you look at the description of him, it calls him
Hmm.
swarthy. They call this type of person swarthy. Antonio Banderas, they consider him swarthy. You know, there's lot of different people. This is where that book that talks about, it's a book by John Mackey, and it describes King Charles II, and it says that he had black complexion. You know, so they use that to say King James was black, or
Right.
King Charles and King James was black. But when you look at how the word black was used, coming from Germanic. It was a Germanic word, Swart, that later became black, used in the British English by certain people, and they would describe these. I guess these people that weren't as pale as English people from Wales were and stuff. You know, like people in Ireland were considered, and it's also like a racist. King James, he was like, people were like calling him like, pretty much ethnic slurs. It was a way to kind of dehumanize certain Europeans because they're not as white as others. So they would just call him black,
Right.
and
Right.
that was a common thing. But yeah, this is the famous image right here that they love to use to say that he's black, and I don't see it.
That's clearly a picture of a white man.
Oh yeah, man, all day. And it
Clearly.
looks just like this image. It looks just like that, really. I mean, the hair's a little different, but it's drawn by it's two different artists. One is color, the other one isn't. It's probably painted at different times too. I think this one was around 1611 when the Bible was published. This was actually in the one of the original King James Bibles, King James version. This and this, I
Mhm.
believe, were, but this was painted in like 1621, 10 years later. So you're
Mhm.
not gonna have an exact double, especially when you have two different artists trying to you know put out a depiction of one person. You're gonna have slight differences. That's why I was showing a depiction of a Jack Nicholson. You got this depiction of Jack Nicholson. Then you got this one here. You know, you got two different depictions of Jack Nicholson that look kind of different there because it's two different artists. So you're gonna have one that looks like this and another one that's gonna look, a little different like this or something. And yeah, it looks different, but they use that as proof that there's been a cover up because look, he don't even look like him. But I'm like, it's two different artists that drew these depictions anyway. So and you could kind of see that they do look similar anyway. But I don't know, it's crazy. but but yeah, I saw you going back and forth with some of these cats. I can't hear you right now. Actually, I think you're muted. Maybe. Maybe you came in on the Wi-Fi. Sometimes that happens when I come from outside and then I join the Wi-Fi. It'll mute it for some reason. I hate when it happens. But you could always jump back in and out if you need to. I'm gonna be on this joint for a minute. But yeah, man, it's pretty embarrassing. Like some people are saying in the comment section. Um, I see some people. Some people are saying some stuff in the comment section. I wish I could jump in. But yeah, it's the Dunning Kruger effect, man. Spooky. How we can be looking at the same person, the same image, and we come to two completely different conclusions about it. That's very odd, man. Very strange. Yeah, but they believe that Jesus Christ is going to come back in UFOs, spaceships, and this is pretty to them is normal. This is reality to them. You got a lot of these Hebrew Israelites. You got to be careful. Here's one scumbag right here. I just want to put his photo out there. Some of y'all know who he is. This guy's a damn child molester right here. Hebrew Israelite messing around with young girls. And he got arrested. He got damn, all types of stuff, man. I just want to expose that fool for what he is. Here he is. As a member of the ICGJC. is the group that he was a part of. You see how they dress? They got their Shield of David. And he was actually arrested for sex trafficking of a minor. That's the dude on the left, and that's his brother on the right. There he goes. This is how these dudes dress, like damn Pirates of the Caribbean, man. These are Hebrew Israelites. They also teach that it's okay, you know, for you to take on a young woman as a wife, like a little girl as a wife, because, you know, as long as they've had their menstrual cycle, they're good to go, is what they say. That's what they say. These are some of the Hebrew Israelites, man. Like, you know, they be looking like Star Trek sometimes. This, the ISUPK, for those that don't know. I got some images on here I wanted to post. You know, of some of these cats. There you go.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, yeah, I had to disconnect and get from out of the car
Okay.
because the Bluetooth wouldn't. It was connected to
Sound
the
a little
Bluetooth.
low though. I don't know if it's just me. Can anybody hear him good? I don't know. You sound a little low. I don't know if it's just me though. Let me see.
I got my volume turned all the way up.
Okay. Damn it, my damn phone is hot as hell right now. I gotta turn on this AC on full blast and put it right by the phone.
Oh wow!
But yeah, man, this is this is an image of a white dude with IUIC talking about the white man is the devil. You know, that's another thing. I put a video out about the interracial marriages because they be, you know, they be with girls, with women like this, and they say this is a black sister right here. You know, she's just light skinned. That actually looks like a dude, man. That actually looks like a man, bro.
The jawline is kind of rugged.
Yo, man, I did a video on all of that.
That might be shimming them.
A she, he, him. Yeah, man.
Okay, somebody said the volume good.
Oh yeah. Okay. This is probably me.
Stephanie Bennett. What's that?
Okay. Sounds
9722.
good. Indigo Dandy said, "I'm white and I don't trust white people. White liberals are the worst."
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So listen, when I was in the school, you couldn't look that white and be in the school.
Yeah.
Back in the early 90s, you know what I mean? You couldn't. Nah. Now they accepting white people in the school now. ISUPK is one of their top guys that would be on the podcast. The little short white guy.
Yeah.
The one that you talked to him a couple times.
Yeah, I've talked to him now 3 times. I've called in, and I got kicked off all 3 times, pretty much. And the 3rd time, I couldn't even have a minute or 2 to talk. He was just straight up straw manning and demonizing me. That was the whole thing that he did, because that was after I already put out the video exposing him on the so-called Hebrew stones. Because, you know, these guys love to think that they have some archaeology behind them.
Right.
And that was something that I was into when I was in there as a believer, because we were both believers at the Hebrew Israelite Doctrine, for everybody that's listening. Me and this brother were both involved with the ICGJC pretty much, and you were there when it was ICUPK.
I left before I left in the year 2000, just to clarify.
Oh, right. Before the ICGJC.
before
Yeah.
Yeah, I left in the like the spring of the year 2000.
So a
So
lot of the things that I used to draw me into it was some of the archaeology because I thought that was like more official. And for anybody that knows archaeology, of course, that's official science. So it definitely adds a boost to your belief if you have some artifacts that have been uh confirmed as official and historic and valuable and authentic pretty much, which the Hebrew, well, they're not Hebrew stones, but the Father Nazario stones, they were authenticated as like it's not a hoax. Nobody created this to try to fool nobody, but it's just not Hebrew. It's what it is. It's just not Hebrew. It for the people that were saying it's Hebrew is it was just that's what the hoax was. People trying to say that it has Hebrew, trying to make it seem as if the Puerto Ricans are lost tribes of Israel. So
listen, it
Mac
was a
Black
point.
said, "Are y'all?
It was
No,
a
we're not Black Hebrew Israelites. Used to be, but
former.
not anymore. Yeah, former.
Who was that? Mac Black.
Somebody named Mac
Mac
Black.
Mac Black. I was in I joined the ISUPK in 1997 and left in the year 2000.
Right.
Yo, that
Yeah.
UFO joint is that you that joint leaning me, man. Yo, that joint killing that
I
joint
know.
killing me.
I saw. I don't know who posted that, but that shit had me dying, man.
No,
Oh
Stephanie,
man.
you good. You didn't misspell anything. I don't see you misspelling anything. Yeah,
Yeah, she
that's
was
another
trying to
thing,
say no
Stephanie.
Jew or Greek man or woman on heaven.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. That's
See.
what's that? Galatians 3:28, something like that.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, Galatians 3:28. Um, yeah. So everything. Listen, everything or every they don't believe in the Bible. Let me just let's say that these Black Hebrew Israelite guys do not believe in the Bible. They
Right.
believe in I got a screenshot from the guy something Rakar. He be posting in there. He
Oh yeah.
said,
He's old school. He's in ISUPK.
yeah. He said to me, since you're not under commanding General Yohana, I know that you're not under Christ.
That's crazy, man. They have this hierarchy where you have to be under them, and if you're not, then you're not in the truth. You're not doing what's right, what's required of you. That's a cult right there, man. That's like the telltale signs of a cult, or telltale
Doesn't
signs of a cult.
doesn't doesn't St. John 14:6 says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come to the Father but by me.
Exactly.
So why would you say you know that I'm not under Christ because I'm not under General Yohana? That
Yep. Yep.
how you cannot debate with. Listen, I'm gonna make the challenge right now. And please don't send no officers or no bishops or no captains of 13,000 or no generals of 13,000. Listen, I will debate Nate. I will debate Tazariak. Captain, let me ask the ISUBK a question about Captain Tazariak. How long he gonna be a captain of 10,000? He been a captain of 10,000 for like 10 years. I was in ISUBK for 3 years and was a captain of 10,000 before I left.
There's somebody in GMS that's in the comments section, but then his message was retracted. I don't know how that happens. Just so everybody knows, I don't delete comments. sometimes maybe you might say something and YouTube disagrees with it, but I don't like that. I want every comment to be shown. I hate when that happens. But I was trying to read it. He was saying something about Christ, who guy's supposed to be here. Jesus Christ didn't have wavy hair. Jesus Christ had a white afro. That's Jesus Christ wasn't walking the earth with a white afro. His hair wasn't white, first of all. I mean, you read that description in the book of Revelation, which is describing him in the spiritual uh a spiritual way of
Right.
I guess he was appearing in a spiritual form. It wasn't like he was a man walking on earth like a regular man. The way it describes him, obviously, he was looking like a
This was a
completely
vision
different
God was
human
having
being.
after the resurrection.
Right. It was after he resurrected. Oh, that should give it away right there.
After the resurrection.
Exactly.
And here's the thing: either they are very illiterate or just sticking to
Mhm.
the script. How do you get white like wool, as white as snow, to texture? I you you
Right.
you have to be
Insane.
illiterate.
Yeah.
You
A
have to
white
be
white
illiterate.
like wool. Like Isaiah 118.
That's beautiful. I see you pull that out all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, man, because you know what I did was just look up wool one time, and I was like, I want to find all the scriptures that talk about wool, and that one's perfect because it talks about snow, white like snow, or like wool. It's like the same framing of Revelation chapter 1. It's like the same thing, same exact thing. It's like right there should show you that. Because they'll say, "Well, why is it describing color twice? It doesn't make sense." He already described the color when it said white as snow, but white like wool is describing texture. But it's just reiterating
Ezra.
to
Let me
for
ask you something,
emphasize
Ezra.
this for emphasis purposes.
Right.
It just reiterates, and I've seen that many times in the Bible when it just wants to drive a point home. It just kind of repeats it in a different way. So it's perfect right there. Whenever they say, "Oh, well, why would he say it twice?" I go right to that. It's, okay, well, it says here twice that their sins are like scarlet; they shall be like snow, or as white as snow. Though they be like crimson, they shall be like wool. It's like it's the
It's the same.
same wording,
Right.
just talking about something else.
And why is it talking about white like wool or white as snow in
Right,
Isaiah 118? What is it talking about?
right. Talking about clean, and
Thank you.
whiteness. That's it.
Purity.
Yeah,
That's the
purity.
same.
Exactly.
You guys don't know what a Jew looks like. I'm going to talk to Ezra first. Ezra, EZ, the acronym EZRA.
Hmm.
Man, look at this guy.
Yeah, his hair was how was his hair like the pure wool is the question. How was his hair like pure wool? Purity, we already established is whiteness. Purity always is represented by white. When something is clean and pure, that's why the saints were wearing white robes in the book of Revelation, chapter 14, I think, or chapter 22, 21, I forget. I believe it's 14.
What happened
So,
to the
you
comment?
know,
He
his
just
hair was
commented.
white. I mean, if you go to Revelation, it tells you how his hair was like wool. It was white like the pure wool. So when they go to that scripture that his hair was like the pure wool, they just assuming that it's talking about an afro when it's actually talking about color, just like everything else. Every time it talks about wool, it's referring back to the color of wool and how clean it is.
This is what I here's something I want to say to that
Yeah,
about this. This something just came to me, right? It says in the Bible that when people go to heaven or whatever, right? They're going to receive a new body, right?
right,
You're going to receive a spiritual body, right?
right.
The Bible says that, right? So how the freak do you think God is sitting in heaven with woolly hair? It makes no sense.
Crazy. It's crazy.
What color were the Hebrews in Egypt? Um, Ezra, what you want to talk about? You want to talk about the woolly hair? You want to talk about what color are the Hebrews? Which one? Pick something to talk about, and we can deal with it.
Man, I was going into this dude right here talking about how this cat got arrested for sex trafficking a minor. Man, he used to be in the Orlando ICGJC church,
Yeah, I
and
seen
now
that.
he has to constantly check in as a sex offender like every month. I looked him up. That dude lives like less than a mile away from like a big high school over here. This dude's a predator, man. These are the Hebrew Israelites, just like GMS, just like Tahar with GMS. Talking about pretty much taking young girls that have had their menstrual cycles at 12 as a wife, man. This is some of the stuff that these cats defend, bro.
That you know what this is. That's further proof that they don't believe in God. Let's alone the Bible. You cannot believe in God and misinterpret Old Testament scriptures for modern day laws.
Right.
How can you follow God's laws in America to the T like that? That goes to show you can't do that. You can't do that. And why would you want to do that? I asked the question: What color were the Hebrews in Egypt?
Yeah, the Egyptians don't look like sub-Saharan Africans, man. But the Jews always had what's called a yellowish, greenish. That's but the percentage is like 60-40. So they still a good mix of Middle Eastern. Nobody is an original Israelite right now. Nobody is 100% Israelite. That doesn't even make any sense. Because everybody came from somebody and then mixed with whatever the hell their father was. Abraham wasn't an Israelite. Abraham wasn't considered a Hebrew Israelite. They might
And
have called him
and
a
if you're light
Hebrew.
skinned like me, or like brown, sort of, kind of like um, what brown.
Mm-hmm.
You more than likely have some type of European ancestry in your DNA. Like Tahar sitting up there right now on the screen.
Right.
Somewhere along the line, he got some European up in him. The darker you are, the more pure, more than likely your bloodline is.
Right.
You understand? Do a DNA test. You can't sit up here and say because of the transatlantic slave trade that you're a Hebrew Israelite, because it says Egypt. It says Egypt. Is and Egypt is not America. You can go to Exodus 3 and 13. That has nothing to do with Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. So you're not a Jew. You're African American. And here's the thing: you say, "What's your nationality?" Nationality is all about citizenship in a country. I don't know why y'all ask that dumbass question. What's your nationality? My nationality is I'm a citizen in America. I'm an American. Y'all ask people, well, what's your nationality? You spend American money. You speak English. You abide by the laws of America, and you're a citizen.
Yeah.
You are an American that has West African ancestry. You're not a Jew. You're not an Israelite.
These black Americans on average have 20 to 25% European, they say. So they're all mixed up already. Even the Hispanics that they try to include in that 12 tribes chart, like this chick that's in IUIC, um, she's very white. She's probably like 60% European, and then maybe a little indigenous, maybe a little African. But these are the people that they're allowing because they make it seem like blacks and Hispanics is the same thing when it's not. You got a good mix of different races within Latin America, depending on what country we're talking about. Like Bolivia is the most indigenous country right now. Bolivia has like almost 50% of the people has like majority indigenous DNA. And then you got European and a little bit of African. You don't even got that much African in Bolivia. Brazil has a lot of European. Brazil is very European. And so is Dominican Republic. So is Puerto Rico, Ecuador. Colombia is very European. And it's all mixed up, man. It's all like for people to just say, "Oh, Hispanics are or Mexicans are Issachar and Dominicans are Simeon." When you know that you have all types of swirling up in there, where now mestizo has become like a race of people, which is a mixed race.
Okay, so listen. So he said, "What color were the Hebrews in Egypt?" Right. So now, according to what you just said, San Miguel, if the 12 tribe chart is correct, then they looked like they were a bunch of different shades of they were different shades. Ezra. So if the Mexicans are from Issachar, then we know what they look like. If the Puerto Ricans are from Ephraim, then we know what they look like, right? You got dark skinned Puerto Ricans, you got dark skinned Mexicans, you have light skinned Mexicans, you have light skinned Puerto Ricans. So, what's the point of your question about what color were the Hebrew? Like it was just one color. According to you guys, if the 12 tribe chart is correct, then they were different shades. They were different colors. What they were all black? They were all one color? See how see how it doesn't make sense intellectually? It doesn't make sense. Tell me you don't go by the 12 tribe chart.
This is one of the icons I was talking about of Stalin, Joseph Stalin, and a Russian woman. And look how brown they kind of make him look. You know, to use a depiction is not a smart way to determine ethnicity, but like just to touch back on that with the Egyptians, yeah, man, like Egyptians, Egyptians right now are considered Caucasians. Like they fall under that Caucasian lineage. They're not uh
You don't want to
sub-Saharan
deal with
African or
facts,
Nubian.
Ezra. You don't want to deal with the facts. That's your problem. You know, you can go ahead and attack personally. I'm not going to attack personally because this ain't personal.
Right,
So prove that you're a Hebrew Israelite. What you going to use?
right.
What are you going to use to prove that you're a Hebrew Israelite? You're going to prove you can't use Deuteronomy 28:68, and none of the scriptures in there are talking about uh for years the Song of Solomon's 1 and 5. I am black but comely. That was a woman.
Right.
Jeremiah 14:2. Why would he say the what how does scripture go? Judah mourneth in the gates thereof language, they are blackened to the ground. Why after blackened to the ground they say and the cry of Jerusalem has gone up? Why
Right.
would it talk about color and then say the cry of Jerusalem has gone up?
Look at this Egyptian wall painting of a Semitic person right here. This is worth $130. And it's I found it on meisterdruk.ie. They have a lot of like classic images that they remake, and this is one of them right here. This is a Semitic person, Ezra. This guy looks like a Puerto Rican or something like that. Like they don't really look black. Like they don't look like a sub-Saharan African. That's why they make that distinction now. Um, and you can go into like the E1B1A and the different groups, and they know that West Africans and Central Africans are very much genetically connected. Then you got East Africans that are a whole different type of people, and then you have North Africans, which are like Egyptians and people from Tunisia and Morocco. They all look similar. Like, I always like to show people like images of, like this right here is another good one.
So what are you then,
Oh,
Ezra?
can't really see
So
it.
you never said that. You're being used as part of the topic of what we're talking about. Since you asking the question, I'm not only this ain't just for you. I'm edifying the people that's listening
Right.
by the question that you're asking. So yeah, no, you never said that, but I'm going to edify everybody, not just you. So what are you then, Ezra? The acronym EZRA. What are you?
Right.
Stop. Pull your panties out your butt and stop whining. Stop whining. Stop with the personal attack. I
Right.
never said that. You guys need to comprehension. It was the ad hominem arguments. Stick to the topic. What are you, Ezra?
hmm Trying to see if these images could
Talking
come up
like
good. They're not
somebody
coming up
talking
in
like
full.
Tomlin. Good one. I do like the Steelers. I do like the Steelers. I'm not
Right.
mad at that. See? Hold on.
Yeah.
Where my jacket at? So I do like the Steelers, man. Look at one of my gloves.
He's Esau.
Steelers hat for the winner. Pittsburgh.
I used to have a Steelers starter jacket when I was in middle school, man.
Somebody
I just like that. I was just always like that team.
call me Mike Tomlin. Hold on. And I got a little Steelers jacket too. See? So yeah, you can call me Mike Tomlin. That's funny. I like that. Actually, Mike Tomlin looks like Ricard Shiar looks like Mike Tomlin. Ricard Shiar, my boy Ricard of the GOCC is Mike Tomlin and Omar Epps fused in one. That's my boy though.
I'm trying to see what images would come up of some of the percentages of people that did their DNA tests, so you can see how the average Hispanic actually comes out when they do the DNA test. Is usually like 10 to 20% African, 5 to 12% indigenous, and like 58 to like 69% European is usually how they come out. So like anybody that uses that 12 tribe sign and tries to show, that Hispanics can be Israelites, you have to consider that mixture that's in there that is very problematic, man. You can't just say that Hispanics are one thing because they're multiple things.
I
Let me
want to
see
ask.
what
I
comes
want to
up.
ask you guys a question.
Hmm.
If you believe in the Bible, you can answer the question. Why God never said nothing in the New Testament?
Say it again.
Why Yahweh or Yahweh, whatever his name is, the God of the Old Testament,
Hmm.
never said nothing in the New Testament?
Hmm.
Do you understand what I'm asking you? So, you see in the Old Testament, right? You'll see, "Thus saith the Lord," right? Your volume went out. You went out. You still there? Okay, your audio is gone.
I think Ezra's a troll, man. I don't know. He don't even sound like he's really
I can hear
making
you.
any sense. He said they let anyone have a YouTube show. I guess. Like what? It's YouTube, man. It's literally anybody can go on live on YouTube. Like it's crazy. The God of the Old Testament is not Jesus. Somebody said. Yeah.
That's a good argument. That's a good argument. I never saw. There's no "Thus saith the Lord" in the New Testament.
Yahweh is Jehovah. That's where the word Jehovah comes from. Is Yahweh. I forget what language, but somebody asked that. Stephanie Bennett.
Yeah, his name is not in the New Testament.
Hmm.
Nowhere. Just a question. You know what I mean? It's just a question. The other question I got, since we have some, people that subscribe to it. The other question I got is, um, why in Genesis it says, "And he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." And in the New Testament, he said, "Fear not him that can kill the body, but fear him that can kill the body and soul in hell," as if the soul is separate from the body. And in the Old Testament, it seemed like the creation of man is a soul. Yo, Lucifer, wow, and he talk about God tricked the world into believing he was God. Hey, you say, "I see you, Judas." Who's that? Rooster? Rooster or somebody. Thomas. What Thomas name mean? What Thomas name mean?
Yeah, I don't even know.
It means doubtful,
Oh yeah, right.
right?
I didn't even know that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Thomas was doubtful. That's the reason why he questioned the Lord.
Right.
He's
It's like they to where their name means like what they do pretty much,
right,
and they're named after what they do. They're not named before they do whatever they do. It's like the story is all based upon the action that the person is going to do, so they just name that person that it, to go with the story. I don't believe these stories actually happen. A lot of these stories, there's some truth and real historic, this history in the Bible, but there's also a lot of things that can't be proven, and a lot of these things, like the Bible says, are allegories and just a
right.
story just to get a point across, and the characters don't even really matter,
Like
because
I said before, though, I like some of the principles. You know what I mean? I do like some of the principles. You know what I mean? But you can get principles from anything that you read, just about.
right,
You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to diminish it. It's just, you know,
and even
questions
Jacob,
questions for the Black Hebrew Israelites.
doesn't the name Jacob mean supplanter?
Yes,
That's another one.
yes. And you know what? Here's something else that I wanted to ask. Why does God, the God of the Bible? Here's a question: why does the God of the Bible morality have to evolve?
Right. Hmm.
Because since you brought up Jacob, right? Didn't they trick Isaac?
He did, yeah. And Rebecca, or the mother, um, yeah.
Eve.
Mhm.
Eve in action again, ain't she?
Right.
Eve was at it again. She was like, listen, man, put this fur on and go make that your father's favorite venison, because while Esau is out there doing what he doing.
Exactly.
All for the greater good later on.
Hmm.
If the God of the Bible is perfect in morality, it should not have to evolve.
Right.
That's all right. I'm gonna come back down to earth to something basic. See, that's why I don't like the. How you gonna
Hmm.
get around that in a debate, in a real debate?
Right.
How
What's
can
up, Reno James? Philly in the house. I put up the scripture in Isaiah 118 for those that want to say that wool is talking about texture. You can read a scripture in Isaiah chapter 118. Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be like crimson, talking about their sins, they shall be as wool. So obviously, it doesn't even say they shall be white as wool. It just says they shall be as wool, because they love to say, well, wool comes in different colors. But obviously, here it's talking about white, and it's not even pointing out any whiteness when it says they shall be as wool. It's just saying, just describing it as wool, because that's the first color that you think about when you think about wool. Just like you could think about clouds, and you could have gray clouds. You could have black. I've seen black clouds. But clouds are usually white. So when you say white as clouds, you don't even have to say sometimes white as clouds. You could just say they're gonna be as clouds. My shirt looks like clouds or something, and you're gonna assume it's talking about the whiteness. So this is all it's doing, and it constantly does that in the Bible when it comes to wool. So whoever brought that up earlier with Daniel chapter 7, verse 9, I think it was Ezra. This is exactly what it's talking about. It's going to be like wool. His hair was like the pure wool. It's talking about his hair was white because it's different from how people look on Earth. People don't usually have white hair unless they're really old, and even then, sometimes it just turns gray. They don't even look white. So it's just a rare thing. So they pointed it out. This is very simple. Yeah. So clouds could be dark, clouds could be white, but if I say white as clouds, you're not gonna say, well, clouds can be gray or clouds can be dark. So it's not talking about color. It's talking about fluffiness or something. Like that's what y'all do with Revelation chapter 1. White as wool. Well, wool is not just white, but it's telling you white as wool. Like it's giving you the color in there. These people like they confuse themselves. Like now he don't even know how to respond. You see, clouds are there dark clouds? Yeah, we just established that. Like, what the hell? I already went over that. Why are you asking stupid questions that defeat your whole argument pretty much? Yes, the fact that there are dark clouds defeat your whole argument about, oh, there's different types of wool. This wool comes in different colors. But if you say white as clouds, you know that I'm talking about the color of the cloud. You're not gonna say, well, clouds come dark too. So it's not talking about color because clouds could be dark. That don't make any sense, man.
Right.
It's
Yo,
so
that's
stupid.
white as clouds.
That's crazy. Like if I say, yo, my shirt is as white as these clouds, you're not gonna be like, well, clouds come in different colors, so you must be talking about the texture of your shirt. And it's like clouds is puffy or whatever the hell. You're just making up your own meaning of scriptures now, and it's clearly telling you there. Like there's no debate behind any of that.
That's right.
It's
That's
crazy.
what it is. Yo, go get Nathaniel, go get Johanna, go get what's his name? GMS was Tahar.
Tahar.
I mean, go get them guys.
Right.
Aria. Hey, you know what? I saw something off topic a little bit, real quick.
Hmm.
Robon is a chief priest now.
Oh yeah, is he? I didn't know.
I
I don't
screen.
know.
Can you can you put stuff on? How you put that stuff? How you got to be the host to put screenshots and stuff up.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I mean, if you could see I don't know if it comes up on the side for you where you could kind of mess things or mess with things there. I don't know how it comes up on your side. You on your phone on the YouTube app?
Yeah.
There's like a whole list of things, and if you look at the little man with the frame in the background, it's under like the camera one. I don't know if you could see that.
Right.
There's like a drop down arrow too, and you can kind of scroll up and down if it don't come up.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
The green
but yeah,
screen.
there's like a way where you could turn your camera backward, you could mute yourself, like there's all these little things, and there's an image with a man with a frame, like a square behind him, a dotted frame, and if you hit that, then it goes through your picture gallery. You could post different things.
Oh, okay. All right.
I
I
don't know
see
if you
it
can see
now.
that,
Hold
but
on.
yeah,
I
but
think I
yeah.
think I took a screenshot of it not too long ago. Um, so Rob, here you go, right here.
Oh snap!
Hold on, gotta make is hold on.
Right.
I think your half of the. Let me see.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you got to take the picture and zoom it out so you could get a full thing when you do the screenshot. So that way it could show fully on the thing. Otherwise, I don't have any way of like
Okay.
I don't know if I could. Let me see. Hold on.
It's already in my gop. Yeah, I don't. Mm,
Yeah, that's the thing with that.
yeah, wow.
But you see him on it. You saw him in a video. That's probably like an old video, maybe.
Yeah, this clip right here. That's him right there. What color is that? You see the first person, and that it looks like gold or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's like that's the chief priests and bishops have like a similar color garment.
Okay. Yeah, he's sitting out there.
Oh yeah,
He
that's
got, he
right.
must have got busted before or something. Again.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they doing Rob dirty, man. They doing Rob dirty.
I think Rob on I had his stepdaughter on my channel before, and I think I remember her saying that he got dropped down, so that might have been like an old rank that he had.
Yeah. How you still getting dropped down or getting busted and Tazadaki is not there? How are they still? I don't. They taking too long with this to change things
Hmm.
back to the way things were, to the original doctrine that they was teaching. It's like, hey, you had the clip of this guy saying that Tazadaki is going to return.
Yeah,
That I
yeah, that he's gonna
did not tell
he's gonna
you,
return, and they're gonna go through the Atlantic Ocean.
yo, didn't I tell you they don't just believe that he's the comforter, they believe that he was. Why do you think they created an antichrist unit? That's not, they try to make it seem like that's for the rebels. No, y'all built the antichrist unit because you believe that Tazadaki is Christ. That's why. That's why they did that. There was no
That
anti
that dude
there's no
ain't
antichrist unit before Tazadaki became the comforter.
right. I don't know that dude. I remember him in the school, and he's like, I think they consider him. His name is Karataza Gabarba. They consider him like one of the two witnesses that they talks about in Revelation.
That was the guy that was holding his blocking the camera at the courthouse, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's him.
That's
He's
him.
also secure. He was also Tazaki's like security
Yeah, he's a
because he's like 6'6".
he's
Dude's
a
tall as hell.
he's a
He's
yo,
he's
busted out before the buster bust another rhyme, the rhythm in sync, the rhymes are on time. He's a bust.
man. Let me see. This dude Ezra, man. He's just Ezra. How you came on this channel, man? How did you find this channel? Were you on one of the Facebook groups, Ezra? Did you join from like the Jews versus Hebrew Israelites? Were you already you just already followed San Miguel TV, or did you come through on Dismantling Hebrew Israelism, the Facebook group on YouTube? Because I put the link out there for people to join, so I don't know if that's where he came from. So I don't know. I'm just wondering, Mr. Esau Ezra. He called himself an Edomite earlier, so I don't know.
He said neither one of us read the entire Bible. Bro, we we was in that church. We read that
We
whole
were
Bible.
Yeah, we were in the church, and we used to have to read this the every Sabbath day. We continued off from last week, and we would read like 3 chapters in the Old Testament, 1 chapter in the New Testament, 1 chapter in the Apocrypha every Saturday. And I was in there for 6 years, and we would continue off. We went through the whole Bible. I went through it on my own.
Yeah.
All 80 books, even 66 plus 14 books with the Apocrypha. I went throughout all of that stuff, and I've now read other versions besides the King James version, which is probably the only version that you know. And I've read the Hebrew, and I have the Josephus. You know, forget it.
We
You
have
know,
to
and
go.
and then there's other books that you probably never read that are quoted in the Bible, like like it speaks about Enoch and all of that. I don't know. Have you read the book of Enoch, Ezra? Why are you limiting yourself?
Right.
They
Yeah, we
love
used
to
to
do
have to
that.
go. We used to have to go up there and read the Hebrew on the Sabbath. Like if the like Ricard Wall, he used to do this. He used to do the Sabbath sometimes because he was the best reader of the Hebrew. And we used to go up sometimes and have to read certain things or whatever like that. Sometimes that was part of it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We had to read the Hebrew.
We had to go up and do street speaking in front of the public, man, just out in the streets, um, live and in person, talking to people about the Bible. I wonder if you ever did that before, Ezra. A lot of these cats never really been put to the test. They're like internet Hebrew Israelites that have learned from YouTube videos. They've never actually joined any one of the camps or nothing like that. That's what a lot of these dudes are. I
Ezra, do you believe in the Bible? Are you a Bible believer?
think he's a troll. It would be good. It would be good if you could join, Ezra, so we could actually have you talk. Because if you came on my channel from the Facebook group, then you have the invite link, so you could actually join.
He said
So
not really to being a believer. What's John 5:18? What script what's that? What's that scripture say?
yeah, if somebody could quote John 5:18, I don't know. Somebody said if it's not ISUPK, I'm suspicious. Well, Bruce Lee UPK. It used to be called the Israeli School of Universal Practical Knowledge, and now it's called the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And nobody could tell me when that change took place.
It,
That's what I
it,
was
it,
asking that
hold on,
Rakat
hold on.
dude.
It used to be Israeli School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Then it became Israelite Church of Universal Practical Knowledge.
Right.
Then it became the ICGJC, and the name changed when I was there in '99. I
Right.
think, yeah, I think it changed in '99, and then ICGJC happened. I don't know. I was gone in year two. When did they start calling it
Like
ICGJC in
2003.
2003? Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, I was gone by then because he couldn't have been the comforter, and I would have been in that school. I say that all the time. My hand would have went up at one of them speaking engagements, and I would have dared anybody to approach me. No damn well, oh, yeah, security. Okay, okay, security.
There was a fire in 2003, and it was like November. Um, and I know because I remember this because damn, I don't know if it was November actually. I think the elections was in November of 2003. But whenever what's his name, Al Sharpton announced his run for president in
Mhm.
'03, it might have been late '02. That's when the fire happened. The fire happened like that day. Al Sharpton announced he's running for president. Then the fire happened, and I think that motherfucker was involved because a lot of his files burned, and that's very convenient because when you run for president, they start looking into your income and your public records and taxes and all of that, your tax returns, and that shit all conveniently burned down. And because Al Sharpton and the ICUPK shared a building, they
Right.
just had different floors in 1941 Madison Avenue. That fire. So
The
that
fire
that
happened
I
every
believe
Friday.
it could have been like January of '03. But they were definitely still called the ICUPK because I have pictures of it when the fire happened, and it has ICUPK. When the firefighters are out there, you can see the sign. It says ICUPK. So the change must have happened sometime right after that. And then, but they've been a tax exempt when they changed the name from ISUPK to change the name school into church so
Right.
they could qualify for that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's crazy.
That's when they became 501c.
Exactly.
That's when they became 501c.
All right.
So what's John 5:18? Can somebody put John 5:18 up there? Oh
Yeah,
wait.
I was trying to see if I could get that up.
You thought all the more to kill him because he not only broke the Sabbath, but also said that God was his father, making himself equal with God. He talking about well, the Jews, because they didn't believe in Christ.
Therefore, the Jews sought all the more to kill him because he not only broke the Sabbath, but also said that God was his father, making himself equal with God.
Yeah. They didn't believe the Jews, they didn't believe in a savior.
Right. God was his
You had
father.
Jews, and then that's the reason I was asking that question about the two different gods, because you had the Jews in the Old Testament. There was no God was the savior, not somebody in the flesh claiming to be, God's son or something like that. So you got the Jews in the Old Testament, and then you got Christians in the New Testament. And some of those Jews continue to question Christ all the way to the cross. This was the Sadducees and Pharisees and Sadducees. Who asked that question? John Wayne.
You remember Meldrick Taylor?
That's my guy, man. That's my guy.
Yeah,
What's going?
man.
How
He was
old is
going
he?
through it. He got arrested too. I just found this photo. I'm going through some of the photos just to see what I could find.
Oh,
And this popped up real quick, man. His daughter was commenting on my video too. I think I did a video on it. I forgot
how old?
where I was talking with his daughter on the comment section. It was probably on somebody else's video because
Oh,
I don't even remember if I did a video about this because I wanted to kind of like leave it alone because I know he's going through some mental stuff, man, for
yeah,
sure.
that's my guy, man.
Yeah.
We he came to the crib.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Wow.
we I I drove his car. We went down South Street together, like on a double date type thing.
Mm,
He had a chick. He was standing out. He was in front of my crib out in the nighttime shadow boxing.
wow.
But
Okay.
we went down South Street together. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I rented an apartment from him for a little bit. Um,
Damn. I didn't.
um, yeah, we was in the same camp together actually at one time. We was in 52nd and Market Street camp together. Yeah, we done broke bread and went to war and all that together, man. I ain't seen him in a long time. He used to be out there at Wayne and Shelton outside the market, you know, hustling.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to see what else I could find here, man. This is the ISUPK. Damn, I wish I could get the whole photo, man. I gotta for next time. I'm gonna be ready to have it like I gotta kind of zoom it out to get the full thing because I don't know the way that this pops up is always strange. There's the same thing on TikTok too. It's hard to get the full photo.
Okay.
This is something I found not too long ago. You ever seen this?
Yo,
That's
yo,
rare right there to see somebody with a white afro. Like that's how they think Jesus Christ looked, just like that man right there. They actually found this dude and took a photo with him.
yo.
I don't
See,
think he's part of any camp or nothing. He's not wearing fringes like them.
right. Yeah, no, that's just somebody uncle they found. You know what I'm saying?
I thought that photo was hilarious, man. Somebody posted that on one of the Facebook groups, the Jews versus
Okay.
Hebrew
So
Israelites or
so so
whatever,
so
man.
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. His head and his hairs were white like wool. Okay.
Right.
You got to talk about everything else too. It says other things too. It says and his eyes were as a flame of fire. So
Hmm.
if you're going to take the hair in the head like wool literally, okay, wait. No, his eyes were flame of fire because he Christ drunk much wine. So he was drunk all the time. It
Right.
makes zero sense, man. Zero sense at all.
That's why I would love to get one of these Hebrew Israelites on the live to because once you start like asking them questions about what the Bible actually says, then you start hearing the
Yeah,
foolishness, when you start really like narrowing it down and asking questions about, well, why does it say this? They can always talk on the comment section and say whatever they want to say, and they're just
right.
talking. We just talk past each other at that point. Like we're not really addressing anything. So, but I want one of y'all to actually come on the live stream instead of just talking on the comment section like y'all always do.
Hold on one second.
When the scripture says his eyes shall be red with wine, when it's talking about in Genesis chapter 49, you're referring to Ezra. It's talking about his eyes are going to be red like wine. It's not saying he's going to be drinking because it also says his teeth shall be white with milk, which is referring to color. It's talking about color. It's not saying that because he drinks a lot of milk, his teeth are going to be white, or because he drinks a lot of wine, his eyes are going to be red. It's saying his eyes are going to be red like wine, and his teeth are going to be white like milk. And when his eyes are like a flame of fire, it's talking about the color again. I think it literally means. Actually, I think it literally means like he had fire in his eyes. I don't know because this is not again an actual human. This is a spiritual body um, that's appearing to John in the island of Patmos.
Right. They skip over the fact that he said he and his spirit on the Lord's day.
I'm breaking up. All right, there we go. I don't know if something was up with my mic there, but I hope it got fixed. I don't know. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, sounds good. But yeah.
I'm trying to
So
find.
Ezra, do you believe in evolution? If you believe everybody came from Africa, it sounds like you believe in evolution. Because they love to agree with what the science says that okay, yeah, the man Homo sapiens came out of like the Congo or Central Africa somewhere and evolved from there.
Yeah,
Um, but then they'll deny everything else that evolution says.
yeah.
I don't know.
Pick and choosing.
Like according to what we used to teach as Hebrew Israelites when I was in there, was that the Garden of Eden was in Israel, and that God created man pretty much in that land that's where it's considered the Middle East, which
Hmm.
is really close to Africa, but it's like it's not really what evolution says about where the first humans started popping up. But that's a whole nother topic, man. I guess we could just stick to the script. My phone is getting crazy hot. End this in like a few minutes.
Your phone get this. Your phone burning out.
I gotta get a new phone. My phone, I'm having to charge it with a damn magnetic charger, and it makes it so hot every time. I'm trying to put the AC next to it to keep it cool, but then you can't hear me too good.
Right. Yeah, man. I kind of caught you like 54 minutes after. I think you was on about an hour already. By the time I saw the post and in the link.
Yeah, I've been on for like a good 2 hours now. I mean, I was trying to see if any Hebrew Israelites would come on. They never agree to it. I was going back and forth with one dude named Isa Israel
Hmm.
about King James being black. Then he said he's a descendant of King James. And then I asked him to prove it. Then he blocked me. But he was supposed to come on the live stream since like last week. And I caught him again today. And he sounded like he was going to come on because he sounds like he knows a little bit. But then he comes out and says wild stuff like, like he's a descendant of King James. I'm like, that's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
you talking about that guy that said his there's his uncle and all of that. He was talking about his family and how many generations he is of his family and all that of King James.
No, he didn't really get into all that. I saw somebody else talking about something like that, but he was a white guy.
Yeah, that was in the group. You talking about in the group, right?
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. That dude, I didn't really get. That's not even who I was talking about because
Oh,
King James is definitely Scottish. So I don't know. I don't know. Was that what he was saying? I didn't. I forgot. I forgot. Yeah, that's what he was saying. This dude.
yeah.
But I was talking about somebody else named Issa Israel, who's black, and he was claiming King James is black and that he's a descendant of King James. And then he started, and then he blocked me after we were talking for a good amount of time. It's been like 2 weeks since we've been going back and forth, and I've been trying to get him on. He said he would come on last week, and then he never responded when I asked him if he what time, and then I tried to get him on today, and then I saw that he blocked me. So I guess I figured he wasn't gonna come on.
Um, what 1,000 year reign are you talking about? Flat truther. Who's going to reign for 1,000 years?
What'd you say?
Flat truther said Lance. That's after the resurrection in the kingdom during the 1,000 year reign. Who's going to reign for 1,000 years?
California. A lot of conversations going back and forth. Damn, I want to. He said, "Y'all look like. Why they look like Mortal Kombat characters?"
Yo, that's Captain
Crazy.
Tazariak,
Yeah, that's Tazariak and some other cat.
the captain of 10,000, but dressing like a general of 13 shield general.
Yeah.
Look at them, look at them, look at them Shang Tsung garments. I don't see how cats be letting that dude get away with stuff, man. He was debating Shamuan, whatever his name is. Shamu, the Arab dude.
Oh yeah, yeah. I gotta watch that, man. I heard he got destroyed on that.
Yeah, he was debating him. I
That
listen.
that dude debated. It wasn't. I wouldn't even call it a debate. He was live or something one time, and then Gorilla Hebrew called in, and this dude like shut him down on Jesus Christ being born of a virgin or something like that.
I seen that. I seen that.
It was real good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that dude. Um, he's gonna. I'm probably gonna meet him in a few weeks because Vocab Malone invited me to his wedding.
Okay.
Um, yeah, Vocab Malone called me and invited me to his wedding. So I'm gonna be meeting a lot of these cats. David Wood. I'm gonna finally get to meet Faithful to God. I think God Logic might be there. I'm not sure. It's gonna be pretty dope.
That's them the other two guys, man. I got
Hmm.
a problem with them guys too, because they both had um Tazariak in the debate.
Yeah, God Logic definitely. And you said who's the other one? Faithful to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called me earlier, man. I actually talk to him on a regular basis. If you want to get in contact with him, he's pretty cool. He's from out here. He's from Orlando.
Well, why I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think. I think that they keep each other relevant.
Yeah,
You
right.
know what I mean? I don't think it's real. I don't think they really are trying to destroy the Black Hebrew Israelite arguments and doctrine. I don't think that that's what they really trying to do. I think that they using each other for views. To be honest with you, I do, because it should be clear cut. It should be clear cut topics and questions and topics, and they should get to the point. They should get to the point. And if you can't prove it, you're done. And that's the reason, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like I was, the morality thing that I was talking about, Deuteronomy 28:68. Like you can't say America is Egypt. Y'all taught that for years. They taught that for years. Basic English had if if you know English and you know that his hair and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, you know that's not talking about that kills every other argument that they have. That's
Right.
what what why y'all be playing with these guys, man? They be
Yeah.
playing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, y'all, it shouldn't be no long drawn out debate with them. It should the debate should be over no less than 10 minutes, man.
When they go into a lot of what they like going into as Christians versus Hebrew Israelites is Jesus Christ being from everlasting or whatever, being here forever, being Yahweh or whatever.
Yeah.
The deity of Jesus Christ or the divinity. I don't know. I see they go into a lot of that. They like going back and forth on that, or they're
Right.
targeting on the Gentiles.
Right.
And sometimes I'll read certain scriptures and it's like it don't look like these Jews like the Gentiles too much, but then in other scriptures you can see they kind of did. It was like So you could debate that all day and come up with two different things, man. That's how I see it sometimes when I look at the whole Gentiles debate. Yeah. I mean, I do believe that Gentiles are the other nation, but the way that the scriptures is written, like these guys can play with that word, and like in Romans chapter 9, when Paul says, "Even us, not only of the Jews, but also of the Gentiles, even us," he says, Paul, as if he's calling himself a Gentile, and then later on he calls himself a Benjamite. So it's like they use that scripture, and I don't know how they get around that to Christians. I never really heard a good debate about that.
Mm.
Amongst other things, like sometimes these Hebrew Israelites get them with certain scriptures because it's like Christians do seem like they avoid the topics of like where Israel, they were the chosen. They were chosen above all people. They couldn't do some type of marrying with Hamites and 7 nations. They was like forbidding interracial marriages, pretty much, or not all, but they were forbidden to to marry at least certain people. So it's like that the racial segregation was there for sure. Like there was definitely things in the scriptures in the Old Testament that Hebrew Israelites still believe in, and Christians are trying to, make it seem like it's all kumbaya now. But
Yeah.
and it could be, I guess, you could go into the New Testament and prove that. But then what about the scripture in the Old Testament then? It's like I don't know.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
they need to go right into Deuteronomy 28:68,
Stay right.
and
Stay right there. That's
mm-hmm.
it. I mean, you're going all over the place for what? You just
Right.
giving them time to BS you around, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They playing with them dudes, man. I would. We get into a debate with. I'm not. I'm. First of all, I'm gonna put some money up, and we're gonna have a real moderator, somebody that's going to moderate for real, not somebody that's going to let them manipulate the situation, man. I'm not going to let them manipulate it. So I don't want to. I would stay away from debating me too if I was them. I really would. I I understand. When you've been there, you know how it's going to go.
White man
Uh,
from town says, "For there is no Jew or Gentile, for you all are one in the body of Christ." Yep, they use that scripture too. They use that scripture and say, "Yeah, because the Gentile are Jews, and we all the same, and that's the tribe of Judah, and the Gentiles are every other tribe." So there's
like
always a way to get
Paul,
around it because it's all like
like Paul and
interpretation.
Peter didn't know the difference.
Hmm.
Like Paul and Peter didn't know the difference right then and there.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
how you reinterpret what's already written.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. They crazy. Yeah, man. But you can go ahead and let your phone cool off, man. I know it's been quite a few hours and all that. I'm gonna go ahead and you know what I'm saying. Maybe we can link up again.
Somebody said, "Try that again. God made us in His image. That's why He has a big fat ass and He farts all the time."
Yeah.
Who
So,
said that, yo? That's hilarious.
wow.
God made us in His image. Right. Sometimes I be asking, well, does God have damn nipples and armpit hair and all of that? I
Right.
don't know about all that.
Right.
Why would God have teeth? All of that good stuff. But those are good questions, man. I think we're gonna have to come back another time because, like I said, it's getting late
Yeah, for sure.
and we've already been on for a while. Thanks for coming through, though, man,
Yeah,
and
man. No problem, man.
everybody else too.
You already know.
All right, man. I'll holler at you though, man. We'll talk another time soon. All right, bro.
Peace.
Peace out. Out of here. Y'all, thank y'all for coming through. Also, um, broski out here getting turned on by God. Y'all funny as fuck, man. All right, let me. I appreciate the comedy, man. It really lightens things up because we be talking about some serious ass fucking topics, as you can see. Oh, and you know, it's funny. It's fun to lighten it up. Things don't always have to be so goddamn serious. But all right, y'all. I'm out of here. Thank y'all for coming through. It's been good times. Uh, Everybody that came on and participated and contributed by commenting and joining in the conversation. I'm getting tired. My eyelids are dropping. I'll catch y'all on the flippity flip. All right, y'all. Make sure you give this video a like, thumbs up, subscribe so you can catch me on the next one. And maybe we'll see y'all again. Appreciate Stephanie Bennett, Gregory, everybody that came through. Ezra, Terry, Lance, Nate, Flat Truther. Everybody, man. I'm missing people. Tara Matthews, Ready 999, Reno Jacob, and everybody that came through. Yeah, man. That's it. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. See y'all next time, man. Peace.